All right, we are going to create a couple of pivot tables. First of all, look at the tips. So we're going to create three pivot tables: the sum of quantity, the sum of freight, and the sum of duty. We'll do this for Menards, and essentially we're going to replicate this pivot table right here. These three pivot tables in this sum Menards new tab. So I'm going to first select Menards. I'm going to highlight by all the cells, do insert pivot table. Select a table or range. It's already selected. New worksheet, which is good. It creates a new tab for me. And I'm going to rename this to Sum Menards New 2 to designate that it's a new tab. So I'm going to click Pivot Table. First, we're going to do the quantity. So in the rows, I'm going to do product. In the values, I'm going to do quantity. And then I'm going to change it from count to sum. So you can see there's 52,000 units. And just to check, if I go to the Menards tab and I get rid of, hold on one second, get rid of the panes. Okay, unfreeze panes. Get rid of the split is what I wanted to do. If I do the total quantity, 52,342. So that is the first pivot table. Okay, now I'm gonna create two other pivot tables. And let me grab their names here. Okay, so the next one is sum of freight total cost. So I'm going to enable content here. Again, I'm going to select this cell so it's in line with this other table. Again, I do insert pivot table. I'm going to keep it in the existing worksheet this time. And I'm going to select table or range. I'm going to hit this little guy and it's going to take me, and I need to select the data I want. So in Menards, I'm just going to highlight all the cells from A all the way through W and hit enter. Then I'm going to hit OK. Gives me a new pivot table. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do product. Then I'm going to do sum of freight total cost. Freight total cost. And I'm going to change it to sum. And then I'm going to do sum of duty SKU. Same thing. So the third pivot table. Highlight over here. I do insert pivot table. Again, existing worksheet. I'm going to select the range from the Menards tab. Again, I'm going to highlight all the columns. Hit enter. OK. And again, I'm going to do product. Then I'm going to do sum of duty SKU total. I'm going to do value field settings to sum again. And I'm going to just change these guys to dollars. There you go. And if you want the per SKU number, I'm just going to take E4 over B4. And this is freight per SKU, duty per SKU, H4 over B4. And I'm going to pull these down. Okay. All right, good. And then the other thing I was going to say, before you actually create this table, if you add new rows to Menards, a couple things. All the items in green are ones you have to manually add. The ones in yellow, you have to basically just create a summary based on some other data. So for instance, this one, quantity here of this container is 2,035 units. So we've put in each of the rows 2,035, so that's how the formulas work. You have to do the same thing in freight and duty, plug it in once from the bill, and then basically just pull those down. So again, each container, every row has the total. And then cost per container, it automatically generates a cost per SKU but there's not the same number of SKUs in a container every time. So what you have to do is highlight these 3 SKUs. If you look down here, 42,617, it's just rounded up to the nearest dollar, 42,618. So those 4, you have to do that basic manipulation. And then the blue ones are all formulas. So you basically can just copy the formulas down if you add more data. And that is it. So it's basically updating the data and then doing the 3 pivot tables.